That's my favourite gum tree here on the property. Love the way it looks, especially in the morning light. So I've got a bit of a special camp ahead of us today. I was going to go for a simple swag camp with my youngest son to a kind of a drive-in campsite, but then I found out it's a long weekend this weekend, which means all the campsites are basically full. They're all booked out. Everyone's trying to get away. Their last chance for a long weekend camp before, you know, the end of summer. So I was at a bit of a loss, but then I got the great opportunity to go to my auntie and her partner's rural property up on the Goulburn River. They have 5 acres up there, and I'm really excited about that. And so I thought I'll take the kids, and then my wife said, no, I want to come along as well. So I'm going to do a big family camp up there. Now, this is new country for me. I've never been up there. I've never been to the Goulburn River, so I'm really looking forward to exploring up there, getting that real kind of bush feel up there. So come along for the ride. It's going to be a good one. Most of my exploration of the state of Victoria has been located along the coastlines. High country and riverina land feel like new unexplored places for me. So I felt like in my younger years again, setting off to camp in a new unfamiliar area with all the potential ahead of me as to what I could find. The historical property we were set to camp on has heritage listed buildings dating back to 1878. The main house was used by local nurses who worked in the town hospital. With 7 chimneys and a cellar, nurses would take shifts working while others rested. There are other old buildings as well, like an old workers' cottage where the workmen lived, who would harness up the horse and cart to take the nurses changing shifts at the local hospital. The place is full of relics of the past, barns and stables, huts and sheds. You can really try to imagine and get a sense of what it could have been like in that era. So we've made it here to the Goulburn River, and we're in this beautiful private secluded little camping spot on a creek. And this creek, it actually runs into the Goulburn River, and I reckon I can launch my kayak from here and paddle out into the Goulburn River with the kids. I'll do that later, but it's all about setting up now, setting up a little camping area. We're here with the whole family. It's going to be a good one. It's nice to just have a kind of secluded place to yourself.
Why?
Ready? Leave the camera there.
Here's the hammer, Dad. I need a stick to break.
And to finish off the setup, I'm just going to use my Cedar Summit bug net to keep the creepy crawlies off us.
Dad, here. Dad, here.
So
This is my little kind of setup for the night. That's where Ethan and I will be sleeping in. Right by this beautiful little creek here. This is fantastic. And then Aggie and the kids, they're going to be in the tent. We'll have a little fire just here, I reckon. What do you think, Ethan? Are you going to sleep with me or Mum?
Yeah.
Truth is, I can't think properly. It's so hot and the kids are crying, Elisha's crying, so I'm just going to take a beautiful dip in this beautiful little pool because I've got to get my head straight. Oh yeah! Woo! Oh, that's nice. Oh, it's icy. It's so cold. Oh. Okay, I've cooled down now. Oh. So this is our little bush camp set up where we're going to spend the evening and tomorrow morning as well. And look, I'm just having a break. The kids are over at the creek having a bit of a swim. I tell you what, sometimes, you know, I make these videos and it looks like it's great, but sometimes it's hard. You know, we've been setting up, the kids have been carrying on, the littlest one has been crying and trying to get everything set up, and it's hot. But look, even though it's hard, it's still worth taking kids out. So I've had a bit of a breather, I've relaxed, the evening is beautiful. I might go check out my kids having a swim now. After swimming in our own private creek, it was time to take the kids exploring around the property. Camping on a historical property with heritage listed buildings was special. I feel it is important to share Australian history with my children so they can learn, whether that be our Indigenous Australian history, or in this case, history from the early settlers. It's always a wonder to imagine what life would have been like here all those years ago, and showing the kids how people in the past would make do without the luxuries of our modern conveniences and technology will hopefully help cultivate gratitude with whatever lot we are given in this life. And then after the buildings, it was on to the river. The Goulburn River is the state of Victoria's longest river, flowing for 570 kilometres and covers 7% of the state. It flows out of Lake Eildon, but has its source in the high country, flowing out of the Victorian Alps and then on into the mighty Murray River, which is Australia's longest river. It passes through a range of landscapes, from high mountain country to rural bush and agricultural land to the southern Riverina country, which is marked by often dry and semi-arid lands. It was a source of water and food and a place of significance for a number of different Indigenous tribes from the original inhabitants who lived along its banks, which had a number of different traditional names for it. European settlers first came upon the river in 1824, and it has been a magnet for farming communities ever since, having a consistent source of water in an often dry land. The river certainly has a strong appeal, and I could see why people would want to settle down here, or at least keep coming back. And after exploring the river, it was time for a cook-up on the fire. Chicken's just lathered up in olive oil and salt, and we're going to do the same with the vegetables. And I've never done this before. I'm hoping that this type of cooking is going to be okay.
We'll give it a go.
What's your favourite part about camping, Emma?
Is that a new tent?
That's not a tent, that's a shelter with a tarp.
That one, but does it look like it? It looks like a tent, but is it a type of tent?
No, it's like a tarp shelter. Sometimes you can see, it's not a very good one though. I haven't done a very good job at it. I mean, if it rains, you're getting wet. We're gonna get better at tarp building, tarp shelter building. Learn off guys like Scotty Scone Walkabout and Silly Swagman.
Silly Swagman?
Yeah.
Mom,
Say again.
my favorite thing is the tent.
Is the tent? Sleeping in the tent?
And my favorite thing is the fire.
Yeah, of course. As the sun started to set and the calmness of the evening set in, I decided to cross the creek via a fallen branch so I could reach the bank on the other side. Ethan asked me to help him cross, and as you'll see, it didn't go exactly to plan. We're okay, but since we're here now, we may as well go to the other side. I'll stop you from falling in. Let's change clothes, good. Well, the main point is Ethan's dry. Well, I'm wet now, so might as well just walk across. I think it's time to get changed. Well, I've always been a bit of a barefooted bushman, so I guess I'll just have to go back to my roots. Alright, it's time to test the chicken. Looks amazing, Maggie.
And Emma doesn't have a fork. I just got the box with that.
Now the best part. Oh.
Thank you, Mom.
And to end the day, the kids are going to have some marshmallows. Daddy's going to have some of this. And it's been a good day, hasn't it? We enjoyed it. Out in the bush.
Where's Mommy?
Cockies are here going wild, and we're by the little creek, and it's absolutely beautiful up here. I love this country. It's I reckon I'll come up here a few more times. In Don Watson's book, The Bush, he writes, "The Australian bush is both real and imaginary. Real in harbouring life, imaginary in that among the life it harbours is the life of the Australian mind. The bush is everything from a gum tree to any of the creatures that live in it or shelter beneath it, and it is the womb and inspiration of the national character. It is the smell of eucalyptus leaves, long shards of bark waiting for a fire, the din of galahs, the cawing of crows, and invincible silence. It is each dawn heralded by the insane laughter of Kookaburra or the warble of a magpie, and the inspiration for literature, philosophy, and art." Well, I can agree with all of that. And whatever you make of the bush, it sure is a special place, and somewhere worth bringing the kids out into, to soak into their mind the heart of this country.
cockies woke us up. They're loud buggers, aren't they? So I slept a bit of the night in the tent. All the kids wanted to sleep in the tent because last night we saw all these, I don't know if they're bull ants or sugar ants running around the mat. So I need a proper bug net and ground mat, like something from Alton Goods, I reckon. But I came out here fairly early in the morning because the kids were it was too many of us in the little tent, all 5 of us together. So it was nice to just spend, second part of the night out here just lying out and waking up to the cockies and the kookaburras and things like that. So very still morning, very beautiful here, yeah. So to be honest, yesterday was one of those camps where things kept going wrong. It was my youngest son's first time out camping and we thought he was going to love it. He's my son, he's going to love being out there. And the reality is he was out of his comfort zone. He just cried the whole time, and even at night, just crying in the night, and he didn't like it. And that's the reality of this channel, is sometimes it's not all happy and joy, and Dad was getting a bit frustrated because I wanted a bit of peace out here in the bush. It is what it is. It's one of those things. Everything was messing up. I fell in the water. My phone got wet. That means my pants were wet. So last night I just had shorts. I was getting eaten up by the mozzies, and then my drone wouldn't work because my phone got stuffed from falling in the water. And we can't really kayak out in the Goulburn because it's flowing way too fast. Kids didn't want to sleep on the outside with me because of all the ants on the mat. It was just one of those camps, but still beautiful to get some time out here this morning in the sunrise with the cockies and the kookaburras. And even last night, once there was a point where the kids finally went to sleep around 10 o'clock, and Aggie and I just sat around the fire out under the stars, and that was beautiful. So every now and then you have one of those camps where everything doesn't work out, but you still got to take the time to enjoy these moments, even when that happens. It won't stop me from coming out here. I just might have to reconsider whether I take Elisha again for a little bit. Here's the little one who caused us a bit of grief yesterday and in the night, but he seems happy this morning. Because we're leaving today, and the contained fireplace, we don't want to heat it up. It's nice and cool now. I might just do breakfast here in this little sandy part next to the creek. It's nice and safe here, a lot of sand, and it'll be nice just to sit by the creek and have a little fire here, I reckon. So Elisha, Tula.
Look what's Daddy doing. They're making another fire.
Just singed me beard. Whoops.
With bellies full of bacon, it was time to get on to what we had come for, a kayak on the Goulburn. I could launch my kayak from the little creek, and then I was going to see if it was possible to paddle upstream the river at all. we're actually able to get onto the Goulburn, even though it's flowing a bit fast. It's a bit of an eddy on the side, so I can actually get a bit far up, I reckon. This is cool. Look at this. Here's camp. Mummy's getting photos of us. That boy's getting awfully close to the water, Aggie. Last is Elisha's turn. We're not gonna go out in the Goulburn for him. But yeah, we'll just go around in this little creek. Because you need to have some fun as well, don't ya? It's very serious. Even though we only stayed for one night, and it was just a drive-in spot, it was still one of the most exhausting camps I've done. The truth is, camping with kids is a bit of work, especially 3 of them. But I would remind myself that it was such a privilege to be able to have amazing scenery so accessible, and the unique opportunity to connect with a bit of history is something worth reflecting on. Camping with kids is hard, but it is worth it, for the sake of what you leave behind for them, the lessons, the experiences, and the moments ingrained into their minds. Alright, that's it for this little video. We're going to wrap it up now. It was really nice just to take the family here and camp on this little creek that's connected to the Goulburn River. To see this country, it's beautiful country. I've not been up here before, but it's absolutely beautiful. I was surprised I actually managed to paddle the kayak a fair bit upstream up the Goulburn, which is interesting because it was flowing really fast. So we're going to pack up now, which feels like a mammoth task ahead of us, but we're going to do what we're going to do. So if you like this video, give it a like, give it a comment. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And I also just really want to thank Sharon and Des for letting us stay on their property here. It was such a privilege to stay on this beautiful property in this beautiful area. So awesome. Thanks for watching the video again. Have a good one.